Hello, everyone. This is Luther Flagstead, and I am going to talk through how I did my latest viz, the Makeover Monday Week 48 for Operation Fistula and Giving Tuesday. So, this one is actually a viz that I did on Sunday night, and I had just received in the mail my Apple Pencil for an iPad. It's actually the iPad I have for work, and I figured maybe I would try to learn to sketch a little bit, but I didn't have a pencil, and so I just decided to try out some sketches for this Makeover Monday since I just got the pencil. Why not? So what I did is I was brainstorming actually with my wife how to represent each of the women in this data set, and I thought about a couple of different things, and she suggested why not a plant. And then we thought about a garden, and then this idea of giving life and growth, and so that was the reason why we got on this theme. And as I started to kind of draw a couple of little sketches, I came on the idea of, well, why not do leaves in a tree? So that's what I landed on. I actually had tried out a couple of different apps on my iPad for sketching, and landed on just using PowerPoint on the iPad. So this was the PowerPoint file that I have, and I actually sketched these then. You can just go to PowerPoint, you can go over here and draw, you can change the colors. Over here, you can more colors, so you can choose which color you want to use. Um, you can choose the thickness, that sort of thing. Now, PowerPoint is actually way more versatile than you would expect in terms of what kinds of things you can design. So I sketched a few different types of leaves. Oops, I'm actually drawing right now. I don't want to draw on there. I don't want to do that. Get rid of draw. Okay. So I had taken these and I had drawn them straight up, and then just rotated them a little bit so that I would have different shapes that would look nice on the tree. And let me go over here and show you then. Once I had those shapes, then I had to import those as custom shapes. I'm not going to go through and talk about how to do that since it's a little bit of a boring process, but I'm sure you can easily Google how to add custom shapes to your Tableau file. I'll just show you what I did for the jitter. So actually, if we go here, I'll pull in the data set. We were given columns A through I, and I added 2 random columns. So you just do the equals rand function and hit enter, and it's going to choose a random number between 0 and 1 in Excel. So I did that. You can do that in Tableau. You can do the random function, and it's also going to do the same thing. But the problem is that if you want to jitter in 2 axes, X and Y, as I'm doing here, if you use the random, it's going to assign the same random number to each whichever dimension you're using on your can I say on your detail here. It's going to assign the same one, so it's gonna like be a straight line. Essentially, they're all going to be in a straight line, and that's not interesting. So in the Excel, I use the random function twice to give a random horizontal distribution and vertical distribution for each of the data points. Anyway, that's just how I did it. Maybe there's other ways to do this in Tableau, but this is how I did it. Once I had that, then actually what I did was, since let me go ahead and show you. So random X and random Y, what that ends up looking like. So you end up with a square, right? If you do that, and I don't know, but a square tree looks kind of funny, so I decided to try to round the corners a little bit. And in order to do that, it actually ends up kind of looking like a plus sign, but it's rounded enough. I I simply, let me open up this one here, random x adjusted. So I said that if the x coordinate was less than 0.02, so over here in this first quintile here, going left to right, if it's less than 0.2 and in the y axis it's less than 0.2, then I wanted to add 0.25 to the x-axis so that it moved over here, and then this one in this corner moved this way, etc. Move this way and this way, and then I did kind of the same thing with y. So I adjusted the y and went ahead and moved it down so that you actually get a bunching of the leaves up in here like this. And that yeah, that was a way of just kind of trying to round off the corners here a little bit and make it look more tree-like. And then, as I already showed you, or as you already saw in the PowerPoint, I did the same thing by just sketching out a tree, and then you just go ahead and select every piece of it, right click, save as a picture, and then you can save it as a PNG file. And the nice thing about a PNG file is that it doesn't save it as a whole square, it only saves the parts that you drew, so that you're not going to get, you know, a white block behind whatever it is that you drew. And then after that, you can even move your shape around, so you can make your tree, you know, whatever you've drawn, you can kind of change it a little bit and adjust it to your needs, however that might be. I'll go back to the way it was. Okay, so yeah, so in the end, I actually stretched it a little bit taller than I drew it originally. So now you know that the background, everything except for this, is all just hand-drawn or built in Figma. And I'll show you what Figma looks like here. So in Figma, here's the different parts. Well, ignore this over here. This is some ideas for something else. But I have the sky, had a couple of different ideas for how to do the sky. I also won't get into details about how to use Figma. I don't really know how to use Figma super well. It's a lot of just button mashing and clicking around until something works. But anyway, just so that you're aware, this is what I used to do my text and some of my background images. Like the legend is, I actually grabbed pieces from the Viz and put them in here for the legend. And yeah, then there's the text. I made the button in here as well. So you have that. And then going back here, my idea was to, again, to get the idea of having a tree with different leaves to try to encode some of the different things that you're seeing about the women in the leaves themselves. So we have 5 different countries, and I drew 5 different shapes, one for each country, and it was easy enough to assign the shapes to, even though there's 637, 638 marks. What you can do is I just put country on filters and edit the filter, and then I just selected one of the countries at a time. So say Madagascar, hit OK, and then since it filters all the marks, now all I have to do to change the shape over here is you just, you know, click on the first one, hold down the shift button, click on the last one, and then you can go ahead and choose your, let's see, leaves. I put it under leaves, I think. Where is it? Oh, it's at the very bottom. There, and so then you just go ahead and select which shape you want to change it to, and hit apply, hit OK, and then they all change. So, and then to do the next leaf, then just edit the filter again for the next country, and do the same thing instead of choosing a different leaf each time. So that's all I did in order to choose the different shapes. and then I put age on size, or actually on color rather, and this is a custom uh, diverging. What is it called? Diverging color palette, and I also um, online you can go ahead and find tutorials for how to add custom color palettes to your Tableau file, and that's pretty straightforward and easy to do too. In my legend, I like to just take a screenshot. So I just took a screenshot of a section, cross section of this, and I use that in my legend. And then on size, it's the years gained, so that the smaller leaves show the women who gained fewer years as a result of their surgery, and the larger leaves are those who gain more years as a result. I just think that gives it a nice variety and difference in the leaves in the tree to make it look nice. So there you have it. Then it's just a matter of floating your different pieces onto the canvas and hitting the publish button. That's it. Thanks.